My door open.
Mine too. Hey, everybody! Happy Tuesday! We had an interesting episode of NXT, but before we get into all of that and all the nitty gritty, I am Katrina, host and creator of In Cat We Trust, and I am here with my twin, Shayna, and we are the Meta-Two of the Meta-Two AfterShow. So, what were your, initial, overall basic thoughts of NXT this week?
I enjoyed it. I feel like it had a good mix of like the entertainment side, but then also like we got some fun matches tonight. So I had a good time. Was I sad that we didn't see our NXT champion? Yes, I was. But we move.
I just, I'm not like, hey, George, like, I don't appreciate these shenanigans. And I say this with the fact that when what's supposed to be on TV is dragging off, and instead we get people like people that didn't need to be on TV today. Just saying. And also apparently people that caused somebody to go a little tizzy on Twitter, but that's another story for another day.
I think did we turn off NXT a little too quickly? What am I seeing on the timeline right now? Wait,
no, I mean,
actually when they go over time. What is this?
No!
Go off no!
Hold on. See, guys, I'm sorry, we were not prepared. Hold on.
I hate when they run over time. I hate when they run over time. This is sickening. Live reaction, Dragon Lee fans devastated.
No, like,
oh, that's interesting.
Okay. Well, guys, well, that's a live reaction. That's a live reaction. See, hold on, because I just kind of said it semi, but I just need to for a second. First of all, see, this is one of those times. This is one of those times when I don't like when I have to semi defend people I don't like. I don't like doing that. That's hard for me. Very hard. When Cody decided to take the kiddies to WrestleMania, I was like, now I gotta be nice for 24 hours. That's all you get. 24 hours, I won't talk no shit about you, Cody Rhodes, because this is a nice thing to do for the kiddies. This is nice for the kiddies, the New York kiddies. Okay. 24 hours though. So now here I am, already irritated. Because Jinder Mahal is Jinder Mahal, and nobody asked him to be on anybody's TV. But with that being said, I'm like, now I gotta sit here and defend Jinder Mahal. I don't want to do that, Tony. I don't do that. Now you got me trying to defend him. I don't like that. I don't like those type of shenanigans. I don't like those vibes. Like, how about you be quiet, Tony Khan? Like, I don't know if his full name is Anthony, but if it isn't, he about to be Anthony today. Listen here, Anthony. If that's his full name, I'm actually not sure. But if it isn't, he gonna accept it for today. Anthony, what you need to do, as I've said this previously, is get off Twitter. You have money. Take a break. I don't know. But stop fucking, excuse me, like my language, guys. Stop going to Twitter. Just stop going. I'm like, why are you depressed? How are you arguing with a Twitter account that's not even ran by WWE? Like, really, like, they clearly hired somebody, and you can tell when an account is hired by somebody and somebody who has enough youthfulness enough to be able to put certain jokes out that you're not super old or whatever. And so I'm like, now I gotta sit here and defend Jinder Mahal. God damn it, Antonio. Anthony, whatever the Tony is going to stand for.
Anthony Antonio is killing me.
I'm tired of these shenanigans. I'm like, y'all cannot be having me defend Jinder Mahal. I don't like Jinder Mahal. But with that being...
No, but honestly, arguing with a USA Network intern on Twitter is actually crazy.
But... I'm like, do you not know? And you can tell, let's be clear, you can tell when somebody's actually running their own account and when it's somebody who's there to get people to get more people on their account. I did this before with people where your job is literally to post things to get followers, and hopefully those followers would generate money for you in some capacity. That's literally what it is. So this is not somebody from WWE running this account. This is a legit some random person, and you sitting here arguing, talking about Hook. And I just have to, because now I have to say before I get back into NXT, like he talking about Hook, like I'm sorry. I recall about a year or two ago when people was like, Hook's gonna be better than Dominic Mysterio. Oh, is that so? Because who is people talking about now? Who's people talking about now? That's it, Dominic Mysterio. The ones that people swore was gonna be nothing with Mysterio, can't do anything with him, blah blah blah. And look who's doing stuff. Just saying. So you mentioned the one person that nobody's checking for is crazy work. Oh, I love my people. Make them go hard. Sting is on your roster. So once you have Sting on your roster, and there's no shade to Sting, but once you have Sting on your roster, you cannot talk about anything about letting young talent thrive when you have Sting on your roster. Get real. Okay. With that being said, because you guys did, I'm just saying, you got me mad. I don't like having to pinch into my hole. Okay. But with that being said, and apparently now I did see live reaction of us realizing what happened at the end, and so now I gotta really get it together by the time we get there. But after my very long-winded rant, let me get into the first match of the night, which was some ladies action between Blair Davenport and Nikita Lyons. And so, Nikita fan. So before the show, Blair and Nikita were brawling in the parking lot because everybody knows everything goes down in the NXT parking lot. That's where all the vibes happen. Everything, you get relationship breaking up, people getting thrown in cars, beating up, all stuff. You get all types of stuff in the parking lot. And this is what happened. And so they brawled in the parking lot, which wind up having their match start a bit early as they had to kind of, fight while the show began. And so Nikita would use some of her strength to throw around Blair, where it seemed a lot, it was pretty physical. This was about a 5-minute match, so it wasn't, terrible, but I thought it was good for what we got. With that being said, there was also a moment where Nikita, I think, suplexed Blair across the ring and then did like a spinning senton and a Samoan drop. And I'm like, okay, he's a little better than the nonsense he was getting before. If I can give you that today, Nikita. But this is me being nice. You're probably not going to get this to me next week, guys. But with that being said, Blair would catch Nikita in like a chop lock in the ropes and then did like a short arm knee strike, and she would win this match, picking up the win. And so obviously this is them having, continuing from the feud that was happening before Nikita was gone for a little bit. And I do think you got to keep Blair's momentum going after winning the Iron Survivor match. Otherwise, it would defeat all the purpose of all of that. You have to have her win. And so I thought it was solid for what it was, what we got. What were your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty. I wouldn't say it's like a match I'm like, I've got to go back to. I'm not putting it in my planner. But I feel like, they got across what they needed to get across. I don't think this is the end of this feud whatsoever. I think they plan to have, Blair get that first win, and then Nikita's probably going to get her win back, and maybe we might get a third. Who knows? I don't mind it because I feel like Nikita still needs a little bit. Ghost in my home, clearly. I'm sorry, guys. It really took me back. But yeah, this is so sick. This whole entire show is just off the rails from start to finish. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it for what it was. I try to compose myself, like I'm scared. But I did see the growth with Nikita, definitely in ring wise. So I'm just really excited to see where this goes. You know, I'm just like impressed as well at the power of these women changing their full gear from the parking lot to the ring mid-fight. I wonder if they were throwing punches as they changed their tops. I really wanted to see that. They should have just like kept the camera going throughout the entire process. I would have liked. But yeah, no. We'll see where this goes, and yeah. I'm invested in this. And I think it was very like symbolic for them to start their fight in the parking lot where it all began. You know?
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. As far as this comment, why? Why are you shocked? Blair is clearly a better wrestler. Let's not do these shenanigans today. See, I was trying to actually start on a good, or I went in saying I was going to pave, and then shenanigans happened. I was like, oh, now I got to talk about, you know, I'm going to talk about everything else. And now here we are with these shenanigans. She's surprised she lost. She's supposed to lose. We can't have Blair losing to Nikita. Let's get that together. Well, the original reason Nikita was injured was because of what happened in the parking lot.
You know, listen, it was earlier, but I like to think that they just fought the entire time and never stopped until 8 o'clock. Let me be Delulu.
I mean, to be fair, it was earlier. I do respect dedication because personally, if I start a fight and think I'm changing the gear, I'm probably gonna go home. To be real, and like you don't want me here today. I'm trying to get in the parking lot to go to work or whatever, and y'all just trying to beat me up in the parking lot. Y'all don't want me here today, and that's fine. I'll see you next week, personally. Those vibes I'm on. But this now leads us to our first Dusty Classic. Sorry, guys. Today was just a day, clearly. So yeah, first Dusty Classic, which was Gallus versus Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker. And so I just said, that I hate that I have to defend Jinder Mahal. And so not only do I have to defend him, now I got to also see on my Tuesday, I got to see Baron Corbin. I just want to know why. Like, what has the universe decided, like, this is a new year, 2024, and y'all like, you know what, guys? Here's some more Baron. Yay! No, my day will never be. My day will be unhappy. It'll be nothing but sadness when I see Jinder Mahal on my TV. And when I see Baron Corbin, I just want to flip something. I know what one I'm going to flip, but I'm going to flip something. And so we had this tag action between these teams. And so before this, because they just had to show Cody Rhodes, and the 24-hour period has passed for me to be nice. So Cody Rhodes did come narrate in the video package for the Dusty Classic. I'm like, I guess I'll give you that. It's your dad's voice, whatever. And so before they get to this matchup, they did also show some footage with Carmelo convincing Trick that they should tag together in the men's Dusty Classic. They also then showed the complete bracket for the men's Dusty Classic, and that the final would happen at NXT Vengeance Day. And so this wasn't a terrible match. I thought it was pretty solid. There were some moments where Baron missed Wolfgang with a right hand, and landed a punch into the steel post, and it seemed like it had injured his hand, as should have. Braun also kind of went on a bit of a rampage during the hot tag. The crowd seemed really, really into it, especially after he suplexed both members of Gallus. And so I thought that was pretty solid. And it also seemed to me that Baron and Braun struggled with getting the tag team chemistry together. And while they did protect each other, it didn't seem at first that they can get it together. This was pretty short, though. I didn't think I thought not that it needed to be super long, but I felt like if you're really trying to showcase some teams, did it need to be this short? I felt like it was a bit shorter than it should have been. With that being said, Braun will spare Wolfgang to set up Baron for the end of days on the mark to win the match. So they moved on in the Dusty Classic. Again, I do think both teams were solid. I thought it was good, hard hitting. And I thought this is, obviously if you want to try to make sure you really highlight some teams, this is the way to do it. With that being said, I do think as Gallus is an actual tag team, I'm a little iffy on them losing because it kind of, to me, hurts their credibility a little bit. Because if they're the actual tag team and you're making them lose to a makeshift tag team that ain't gonna get their shit together until at the end of it, I'm kind of iffy on that. But yes, otherwise it was solid. And I don't want to get it was good for what it was. I still don't know how I feel about them being a team because I don't need Baron Corbin on my screen. Absolutely not. Never. But yes, otherwise solid stuff. What were your thoughts on this match?
I thought it was a fun short match. I agree. It was definitely short. But I think that the main goal was to kind of show the teamwork between, or the lack thereof, or just see what's going on between Baron and Braun. I think that was the main purpose of this match, which sucks for Gallus, as you said, them being an actual tag team. But I feel sadly, Dusty Classic was built on them trying to further singles storylines, singles wrestlers storylines. I mean, the first winners, Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, who then went on to, have a plethora of matches afterwards because Joe was just pretending, and that kind of sucks because I would like for them to this, give the real tag teams, the one that throughout 365 is on NXT and going hard for the tag division, their love. It kind of sucks when they just randomly throw people together just to give them time. They've been doing a lot of just throwing Braun in things just to make sure he's there, make sure he's on the card, a lot of times. And sometimes it doesn't make sense to me. It makes sense that they want them on the card, but it doesn't make sense in the things that they put him in. For me personally, that's just me. But Braun looked great. The German was awesome. That was really cool to see. He's really powerful. I mean, that's no denying. And I think after this, he probably will be going up. I see the finals being Braun and Baron versus LWO. Or that's what I hope. I definitely want LWO or Malik and Idris to get to the end for me on that part. But then for Braun and Baron, I just see it it seems like they're going to probably push them ahead. For me personally, I would like for it to be Axiom and Nathan versus LWO in the finals. That's my what I would love. Do I think that's going to happen? I don't know. Right now, it's looking a little rough.
I would hope we don't get Baron in the finals. That's too much. That's too much Baron time. We don't need all that. I feel let's end this quickly so I can stop seeing him on my TV screen. With that being said, I wouldn't mind seeing Axiom and Nathan Frazier either. But yeah, this will never happen. As long as Katrina knew who Baron Corbin was, Katrina wished she could have had some darts and could have thrown it directly at his face when he pops up, just every time, just yuck, dart to the face. But yes, after that, there was a segment with Joe getting in Ridge Holland's face, warning that he could not last at NXT without friends. I'm just mad that he's lasting at NXT without me seeing my guy. But I have not had turtleneck time in a bit, and I'm not happy about that. But what are your thoughts on that little segment?
I mean, I don't know where they're going with it. So we need to just see. The Hardy Wrestling Podcast cracked me up a bit with a tweet of what in the NXT UK is going on here. I'm sorry, I just cracked me up. I had to bring it up because I literally laughed so loud when I saw that. But yeah, I guess we'll see. I don't want to hear nothing Ridge got to say. I'm still mad. I said what I said. Joe with the bayang, brush it back. Why do you keep with the bayang? It's killing me. And he's wearing a raincoat. Did you see him wearing a raincoat out there? Yeah, in Florida. Why are you wearing a raincoat? It was a lot going on for me there, Joe.
He's on that Zyjack shenanigans, wearing stuff you don't need to wear at the wrong times. I don't know. We then had a little segment basically with Lola pretty much kind of saying she was going to challenge Lyra. And so Lyra announced that the Battle Royal next week could lead to a final four fatal four-way number one contender match to determine who she's going to face at Vengeance Day. And so while she was saying all this, Lola, accompanied by Elektra Lopez, kind of interrupted, and Lyra kind of challenged Lola to cash in on her title shot. Instead, Lola and Elektra would attack Lyra, and then Paxley will come and make the save. And so this was solid. I think, but I thought it could have been a little bit better. I think both of them need some promo work. Lyra needs to especially get it together as champion, with regards to promo work. And Lola, as you certainly know, while I know there's some of y'all in the comments who are in the Lululand about Miss Lola Vice, ma'am needs a lot of work. Promo wise, it just, even with her little one thing, that one move she got that seems to push her to win this in the first place, I do not feel her as a threat. And so I don't think I'm supposed to buy her taking on Lyra, in these, just with this, I can't take it seriously. However, I could say, if they want to do, for the women's stuff, if like women's Dusty Classic, they could kind of have them team up, obviously, with Lyra and Tatum, and Lola and Elektra if they really want to do something. But whatever. Tatum did yell that she can break them up and say that her and Lyra was made for each other. I'm like, okay. But yeah, what were your thoughts on this segment?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you with the whole mic thing. This is kind of something I've kind of always had a thing with Lyra. Like, I've always felt like in ring she's perfect. I feel like she has aura about her as well, but it's just like the talking is a little bit like, it just needs to be a little bit more lively personally. But I do like her because she sounds like she's telling an ethereal story every time she talks. Like, I can't explain it, but she literally sounds like she should be narrating all of the Harry Potter movies or something, that's a compliment. It's not even an insult, that's a compliment. But yeah, Lola, I feel like I have been under threat. That's what every time she comes out with that contract, it's a threat. I take it as, I'm like, no, girl. Like, I think she's stunning, obviously. I think she has, a great look and all these things, but the in-ring is just not for me. Not right now. I just need a little bit more, because I feel like the strikes are perfect. When she does the strikes, of course that's perfect. That's her forte. Now it's all the other stuff in between that is very necessary, like, to have a functional good match that is not all the way there for me. That's just how I take it. But I just don't think it's time. No. I don't see her taking that from Lyra, and I don't want to see that. Not right now. There are so many other girls I feel like are way more qualified to take that title from Lyra at this present moment. That doesn't mean that later on Lola won't be, one of those people. But right now, for me, it's not. And I love Tatum. That's it. I just add that as well. Tatum just cracks. I love the weird stuff. Okay, I like weird. What is it? I like weird chicks. What is it? I do.
Yeah, no, I'm with you with Lola. I didn't think she should have won. I've said this multiple times. I get why people like her. She's pretty, and that's fine. But pretty does not make you believable. It just means you're pretty. And so whatever. But I know some of y'all might be a little upset that I said that, as you guys are. And so they did show the story of Tiffany having to work with Fallon as her farmhand, and that she realized just how hard the work. I'm gonna get back to that comment. Just how hard the work it is to run a farm, and I thought it was a really solid segment. And I do think, again, they should try to have them working together as much as possible. Just because I think they work really well together. With them being said, this whole Lola being credible and the legit badass, this is gonna go a good way of what people do outside of WWE. We are in WWE, and Ronda Rousey was a legit badass. Okay, legit badass. It was a very, very, very different thing though when she got into WWE. There's a reason for that. You being a badass in your field is being a badass in your field. You coming where you not only have to look decent enough to wrestle, you have to, you know, you have to make people believe that you are worth this, and do so being semi-entertaining, but also at least have the other aspects like some promo, mic work, etc., etc. And Lola does not have those things. Even with her wrestling, even with the legitimacy behind what she can do, it is not translating well in wrestling. And it's fine. Again, I think of Ronda Rousey, somebody who's literally was somebody who used to bust up everybody. And then she got to WWE and it just wasn't the same. And every time I saw her with her angry little pouting face and then her pointing to everything and pointing at signs, I want to flip her every time. And while I know Ronda could probably will, not even probably, Ronda will kick my ass. I ain't stupid. Okay, I can't do those vibes. That's not my vibes. But with that being said, her and WWE just got me up a wall. I just know. But if you ask me about UFC, Ronda Rousey, I'll tell a very different story. And yes, she is in developmental, which is even more of a reason why she does not look yet ready to be beating anybody for any titles, let alone even winning the thing in the first place. But that's a rant that I will not get back into. As for Tiffany, I guess asking you, what were your thoughts on this Tiffany and Fallon farmhand segment?
I mean, it's really sad to see that this is what Fallon has to do to make herself feel better, is put Miss Tiffany through all this for what? She swears up and down that Tiffany, she doesn't know what hard work is. Girl, why don't you go and see if you can learn how to do gymnastics, and then you tell me what hard work is. Do you think gymnastics is easy, Miss Yeehaw? Do you? It's very difficult. So I just need her to drop this whole Tiffany doesn't know anything about hard work, because gymnastics is hard work. Very hard. Miss Fallon. I thought it was funny. It was giving, let's take two girls, you're 50 rich, no ready cars. I'm sorry. I love The Simple Life. But yeah, I like the minute they said that Tiffany was gonna be doing this, I was like, yes, we're getting that. And she brought back the little cowboy hat, the little bedazzled pink cowboy hat that we was all begging for on Twitter last week. That's why I really appreciate her, because you know what? She gives us what we asking for. Her fans ask for something, she pop up with it the next week. I have to respect that. I love when, wrestlers, they read their fans what they asking for. Just give them what they're looking for. I appreciate that. That's all I asked. She came with the hat. She ate it up. Outfit was tea. The outfit was tea. So, you know what, Fallon, if you think you won because you had her tipping some cows, picking up some poop, falling into some water, and she still look bad. Still a bad bitch. It don't matter. You ain't stopped nothing. It's all right. It's a nice send-off for Tiffany before she goes to the main roster. We gonna see what's gonna happen up there. We are gonna see. But yeah, it was funny. I expected these skits to be funny. I did not think that they would be stupid. Just thinking about how Tiffany is and the situation they were putting her in, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna laugh a bit. I know I am. And I did.
Now, while I would hard disagree about being fans, because my what I'm saying is I don't need to see Tiffany. With that being said, I do think she was on the look. She was like, okay, I'll give you that. Give you that, Tiffany. I mean, I guess compliments I have to give ungrudgingly. But yeah, I do think they have funny segments, and if she's not going up right away, I wouldn't mind again having them kind of keep them up doing stuff together. just because I do think they have really good chemistry, work well. It seems like it works well with both of them. They do it it's good stuff. And so we then had a match. Oh,
can I ask you one thing? Did they already do the women's Dusty Cup? Are they doing the women's Dusty Cup?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I mean, if we're getting it, it'll be. I'm guessing you're mentioning to see if there will be a tag. Maybe it might work. It might give us some good segments through it. If they do, I'm not sure. But if we get it, if you're trying to push some tag teams, then I guess hopefully we'll see.
People love a good hate to love team.
Yeah.
You froze.
I hear you there. And so that brings us to our next matchup, which was Josh Briggs versus Ora Mensah. And so, before this, Josh interrupted Meta-Four making fun of the fact that it seems, the big breakup between him and, with Fallon Henley and all that stuff, which made Josh decide to challenge to a match. And so, Noam kind of got into Josh's face after the bell rang, but this this was a bit, for me, I felt like it was a bit of a squash, which is kind of weird, just because we've seen the other stuff that could happen, so I wasn't really sure. Not that it was like a complete, I don't know, I feel like this could have been done so much better. And so Noam Dar tried to keep Oro in this match, but it felt like he couldn't really do much to Josh Briggs. Josh will do a running clothesline to win this. And while I get you're trying to push Josh as like a solo act, a big guy as well, and having him, already having a bit of a bone to pick. I mean, okay, but I feel like he could have won this without it being totally a squash, because we've seen these. I feel like if this was wasn't who it was, I'd be like, all right, but we've seen, he's not like that bad or anything for it to be like a squash the way it was to me. And so I mean, I guess, but if this is gonna help set him up, for some dominance, I guess this is the way they did it. I do think for me that it's gonna probably set Josh up, to take on Noam Dar again for the Heritage Cup at some point. And, maybe this will help get Josh more prepared to working by himself rather than his team, with a team as he was before. But it was all right for what we got. What were your thoughts on this matchup?
I love Oro Mensah, so I was just not happy with this. I'm tired of him being the fall guy. Every time someone wants to come after Noam Dar, it's tiresome. I hate it so much. We'll see where it goes. I hope he does not beat Noam, because I know this is where this is going. He's going to get a rematch. And I just hope that he does not win, because I love Noam and I love the Meta-Four with, their segments. And him having the, Heritage Cup, I feel like that's just his title. Like, leave him alone. Like, Josh, go find something else to do, please. Like, it's like the Yeehaw people disbanded and now they're like separately going after my faves and causing me distress. That's all they've been doing. The only person that's been chilling is Jensen. But the other Yeehaw, the Yeehaw bandits, they are just they're running amok, and I can't take much more.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Definitely with you on that. As you call the Yeehaw bandits. As you call the Yeehaw bandits. And so we then have some more tag team action for NXT Tag Team Championship belts with the Family versus OTM. And so this was solid. I felt like there was some good moments here that I thought was pretty decent. There was a moment when Nima kind of saved Price from a double team power bomb, and then they planted the Don, or they planted him, I believe, with like a power bomb, which I thought was really good. But then Tony D'Angelo did kick out of that, but I thought it was good. Also, Scripps or Reggie helped up Nima and then kind of pushed him in to save Price after he took a bada bing bada boom, which I thought was decent. Rizzo would knock Scripps off the top rope to stop interference, which again I thought was pretty solid. But otherwise I thought this was a pretty solid match what we got. However, with that being said, as it was Adriana, helping her being able to take out Scripps allowed Stacks to blast basically Bronco Nima outside, and then Tony would hit his forget about it on Lucian to win this. I do think, well, for me, I don't think OTM has things that are super, super exciting move wise. I do think their matches are usually pretty entertaining. I do think they might need to change up a little bit. That's just me. But I do think for the most part they do give entertaining matches, and the fact that they kind of pushed multiple times during this, that it definitely could have went the other way because it was a lot of near falls. But I thought it was done really well. I do think even having Adriana there would definitely help kind of keep, the family at the top for a little bit. I feel like this is kind of the way to do it. And so I think it's solid, but the family would retain the NXT Tag Team Championships. Also after this, Parker will tell OTM that they needed her, and they seem to agree. So I'm guessing we might get some more beef between both of these groups now that another woman has joined the opposing side at some point. But otherwise, I thought it was a really solid match, and I didn't think the family would lose personally, but I do think that maybe they need to do something a little bit fresh with OTM, and I think maybe having Jada will be the way to do it. So we'll see. But what were your thoughts on this match?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like the family's reign has been kind of like boring. Like it's just been kind of like nothing going on, like they're all wrapped up in the Chase U situation. I feel like the Chase U thing has been more at the forefront than like them, them being the tag champs. And, hopefully that changes because I am a fan of the family. They're entertaining. They always crack me up. It's just I need something because I've just been feeling so boring. Their reign, just boring, So I'm not gonna lie, I was rooting for OTM just because I wanted to shake it up, and I love chaos, whatever. And Bronco Nima is one of the funniest wrestlers today, and I will stand on that. I will stand on it. That man is hilarious. Adding Jada, oh my god, between Jada and Bronco Nima, do you understand? We're about to be fed in a way that no one understands. Jada, oh my gosh, she already has given me a meme to use for 2024. Like already. She's providing mamas. Like seriously, she's feeding families, homes. I'm so excited for this. She has so much personality. Once she gets her in-ring, because her in-ring is still a little bit like, but the character, the aura, the look, she got everything. Once she tightens up that in-ring, it's over. Y'all better run. Y'all better duck or something. Because it's over. Seriously.
No, I'm with you there. I do agree that I think this is a good way again to do it.
Don't hinder the OTM.
Yeah, no, I do think, as you said, that if she kind of gets just, tighten things, as I've always said, gotta keep it, tighten stuff up when you comment. I do think it could definitely be something that I can see it being a problem. So after NXT Anonymous, because NXT Anonymous apparently always was on it, caught JC Jane coaching female students of Cheishu on what they could do to save the university. Now, I don't know how she has this much say so, but here we are. What were your thoughts on that segment?
I honestly wasn't even focusing on what JC had to say because I know she the one that started all this in the first place, so she's playing games. I was focused on the newest signee NXT girl there, Maddie Renkowski. I saw you, girl. I saw you in that group. We don't know your name yet because I know they got you with a name. I want to know. But I'm excited. I see you, girl. I see you.
No, I was actually really happy to see her too. Like, I'm good for her. I'm glad, been a fan of her for some time, and so it's pretty cool. I will always hinder. Just saying. So then we had a matchup between Gigi Dolan and Cora Jade, and so I felt like the crowd, for one, kind of felt like how I was feeling, where it took them a little bit to get into it, and then I kind of agreed. But they did eventually kind of get more involved with like a dueling chant as the action kind of started going. I do think, it was all right. I do feel like, and maybe this is just because of how I said it with regards to the booking that Gigi has been on since the whole thing between her and JC in the first place. Something for me just felt like it's been missing from her character since that happened. And I thought like it was a really weird thing to have them had the whole thing, the mom thing and all that. And I, still just, I didn't understand. But then, to have it be where basically Cora will grab the referee to kind of save herself, and then she did the jaded on Gigi Dolan to win the match. And so she kind of like stole a win. And so, but I felt like it was a bit flat of a match for me. I just feel like Gigi lost some credibility with the way she's been booked. I can't even take her seriously with regards to Cora, and I don't even like Cora. It's just I can't take her seriously. As I feel like she needs something to kind of get her back into the greases. Where I'm like, all right, let's see what you can do. I'm just not feeling it. And there's nothing against. I think she's pretty girl and everything. I just think something just could have been. And for a match that was about 4 to 5 minutes, it didn't even have moments I could like, oh, this is something I really appreciated. But it was fine. It's just, I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, I do think they're trying to have this Cora versus Lyra at some point coming up, which is why I think they're giving Cora her wins. But I do think Cora probably needs to add some other stuff to the move set. But, we'll see. If she's going to be facing Lyra in particular, I think obviously she needs to be ready for that. You don't want to have Lyra hardly crazy with Lyra because, that's something you can tell when somebody needs a lot more in that regard. But otherwise, it was all right, for what it was, I guess. But I do think something needs to give, personally, just personal preference. But what were your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, I feel like this match definitely could have been a little bit more lively. I do think it was a slow start. But they had a little bit of momentum there. They had some things. I do see also with Gigi, I see the growth in her in-ring, and she's moving faster. She's putting more impact behind her moves. So I'm appreciative of that. But I do see like her booking has been so just wishy-washy, and it has really affected her like credibility. So I do agree that like, it's hard to take her seriously with how she's been booked. It's crazy to think since the Bailey talk show, I feel like people had an idea of where the trajectory will be going for both JC and Gigi, but it seems like JC right now has way more direction than Gigi at this point. And she's been taking a lot of losses that have really made her not look great. And I hate it because I love Gigi. I'm such a Gigi fan. Again, she's just my type of girl. Like, I can't explain it, but she's the type of girl I will root for it because I love her style. I love her energy. I love her aura. She has aura. When she walks into a room, you look at her. Like, that's just the T down to the bottom. She just got to get that character. Like, she needs to get that really good storyline that's going to really lock her in, because she has not had that yet. And it's really, really becoming a detriment to her growth in NXT. And I really hope it changes. And with Cora, also I think she's just been out of the ring for a while, and she just needs to get her footing back. She really does, because yeah, I like them both, and I really just I want to see some growth, because these are my girls. You better turn up and stop. Damn.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know you like them a lot more than I do, but I do think something needs to kind of refresh it up. Definitely have to fresh it up. I don't know, something. And so this now leads us to the C Classic between Hank and Hank versus Axiom and Nathan Frazier. So this was pretty, solid. Nathan and Axiom did like a little joint entrance. And I was like, we could probably really do something with this if we can. Hank would blast Nathan with like a big boot, and then Hank and Tank slammed him with a do avalanche. I thought was really, really solid. But this was pretty good for what it was. I thought that the Hank and Tank told a decent story early on. And Axion will then pretty much take out Hank with a running knee to set up a Phoenix Splash from Nathan Frazier. They win the match. I do think that, again, Hank and Tank just works. I know you don't like them as much, and I'm not that I'm a huge fan of them, because it's not even that. I do think they work well enough together, though. I do think, in that regard, they do work well together, and so it made them a bit of a highlight in this, and not like, while we both know Nathan Frazier and Axiom can wrestle their asses off, I felt like they didn't feel like a team yet to me. I felt like, if anything, they're just like two awesome dudes that was tagging for this matchup. If this is supposed to be highlighting them as a tag team, I do think they'll probably get there, though, because again, they are fantastic wrestlers. But I felt like Hank and Tank definitely looked more like the tag team, as they should, since they've been there. They've been longer. With that being said, I do think that eventually there will be more chemistry, like even better as far as a team. I think they have good chemistry when they're against each other, when they're facing each other. Chemistry is off the charts, but I feel like it's something has to get there with them together for me. But I thought it was decent for what it was. I thought it was pretty solid, and even not maybe at the Dusty Classic, but even if it's like we see this again in the future with them, I wouldn't even mind it, just to kind of see, what they would do again. I feel like, with that, it was good for what we got. And I can't wait to see, and I know you mentioned that you wanted Axiom and Nathan to make it to the finals. And it's very possible we can see them in the finals, depending on how they swerve us with what's going on. But, it was good for what we got. And I'm looking forward to see what we're going to get out of Axiom and Nathan Frazier. But Hank and Tank should be, proud. They did what they're supposed to do. I don't think they should have won it either necessarily. But not bad, not bad. I know you're not really a fan of the two of them. But what were your thoughts on that, Matt?
Yes, this is true. I'm not a fan of the cut sleeve shoulder men, but I see the growth. I think they do work well together. I like Tank. It's Hank that be killing it for me. He needs to give a little bit more personality. I feel like Tank is really carrying on the personality part, and that's just not gonna work. Like, as a tag team, like, y'all both need to be pulling your weight for this to really pop off. So I'm gonna just need Hank to kind of like turn up. I need a little bit more personality. Turn up something, because it's giving Hank Hill, and I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it, Hank. I'm gonna be honest with you. I really, really, really want Axiom and Nathan to get there. And is Nathan like the tournament queen right now? I'm sorry, the tournament king. Sorry, it's just normal for me to say queen. He's the tournament king. This man stay in a tournament.
That's true.
I love that for him, but he need to win one, because it don't mean nothing. You all like these, you ain't win at least one. How many you been in? You ain't win none? Come on now, Nathan. Axiom gonna get you right. Don't worry. Mr. Turtleneck 2 is gonna get you right. Trust me.
waiting sadly patiently for my guy, whatever. Um, Malik and Idris also tried to focus on Dusty Classic, but Brindley Reese would arrive to kind of offer them some remedies to hopefully have some future success, I guess, during this tournament. What were your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm hoping the best for him. I'm hoping the best. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what we're gonna get from him too. And so this then now leads us to the North American Championship match. And so, before this matchup, Dragon Lee told Ava that his visa issues were resolved. And then why he said that, he was confronted by Lexus King, who convinced him to sign a contract for the match and the main event. Lexus will then, you know, would mock Femi, Oba Femi, kind of mocking him, which I guess gave him kind of an idea to watch the main event closely. Trey Bearhill also confronted Lexus King early in this matchup, which I was like, oh, okay, but then the officials kind of sent him back. So I feel like that's probably what's going to happen. Probably, once I get to the end, what's going to probably be up next for Lexus. Honestly, is the thing with him and Trey. With that being said, I thought this match with Dragon Lee and Lexus King was a fantastic match. Not like the best, but it was just for what we got in retrospect of what Dragon Lee was doing, kind of making sure that he really couldn't get, Lexus King couldn't get any much leeway with him. And I thought that was really solid on Dragon Lee's part, but to show you that, Dragon Lee's Dragon Lee. And so he did all of that, but Dragon Lee would do his Destination Dragon to beat Lexus King and win this matchup. However, as we did see apparently live, as we found out, so I had to find some notes on it. Apparently, during this, Oba would come out and cash in and become the new, he did an elevated powerbomb, and he would become the new North American champion. And so I was like, again, we were not prepared for that because we had did stop watching. I was ready to pop up on the show, and so we didn't know that happened. But I feel a few things about this. One, if you was gonna have Dragon Lee lose this quickly, then why did Dominic Mysterio lose it? If he was gonna lose this quickly, I don't know how I feel about that necessarily. But hopefully this will give an option for Oba to really see what he can actually do. He's a big guy. He can move. He can wrestle. But now you're a champion. So let's see if you can move like a champion. Can you make promos like a champion? Can you make me believe? We had some awesome NXT North American champions over the last few years. Wesley, Carmelo. We had some people who really did their thing as the NXT North American champion. So I feel like you got some shoes to fill. And so hopefully this he really does this thing and it didn't pull the trigger a little too quickly. We'll see. But apparently, yes, we do have a new North American champion. What were your thoughts on this matchup? And as we found out that we now have a new champion, and Dragon Lee is no longer champion.
I feel like this so far was Lexus King's best match in NXT by far. I don't even like to talk about the deadline match. I like to pretend like it didn't happen, actually. Like it was a bad dream. But this is definitely a much better match. And I don't know, like Lexus, I feel like he's such a Delulu heel that him losing, it don't even matter. Like it doesn't mean anything because he's gonna pretend like it doesn't matter. So I'm not even going to discuss that. Dragon though, like him losing, like, I mean, I hate to say it, and I want to see, where it goes, and I hope the best for him, of course, Oba, because I do think he is a polarizing figure. He's huge, your eyes go straight to him. He has a great look, but personality-wise, in ring, he just kind of tosses people around, which is cool, but like, again, kind of similar to the same thing with Lola Vice, is like, okay, you do the strikes, that's your forte. We get that. Same thing with Oba, throwing people around, showing your power is your forte, but all the other stuff in between is still very important to put together a functional, good match again. So I just need to see that, because I already know, and I've come to terms with it. The match quality for the North American titles moving forward is not going to be on the same level as it was when you had Dragon or Wesley or Carmelo holding the title. That's just the truth. That's not, just like saying to say it. That's like a fact. But we'll see. We will really see, and I really hope that he shuts me right up. I want him to shut me up, not physically, but like, with proof, that I'm wrong. I want him to, okay? But don't attack me, for real, because you're big, and I bruise easily. I really do. And I have brittle bones, and I have scoliosis, so don't hurt me. But yeah, no, I want him to prove me wrong. But Dragon, I guess he's going back to the main. I guess because they had just put him on the main roster, so I guess they weren't gonna have him in NXT for too long. Like, I think this was just like a last minute thing they had to figure out because of the stuff that went on with Wesley. He, reliable guy is Dragon Lee, and he came, did what he could, provided fantastic matches in the process, and now he's going back to the main roster, hopefully to slap Logan Paul and get the United States title. So here's hoping.
We shall see. But yes, guys, that is the end of our NXT recap. Thank you guys as always for hanging out with us. Rude. Rude. Shay, tell everybody what you got going on and where they can find you.
There's a new episode of the Big Pop Theory podcast that just dropped yesterday on Spotify, Google Podcast, I always get that wrong, and Apple. You obviously can catch me on Tuesdays with this amazing, beautiful, fantastic woman right here. You see her right here. Got a point like that. You can catch me. I'm trying to remember if I'm doing it this week, but I think I am. I will be doing Collision this Saturday again. The hosts kind of switch around, so don't ask me who my co-host will be, but I will be there, and that's on Unpopular Review YouTube. And I do have a Twitch. We just recently, got some upgrades, so we will be resuming streaming probably tomorrow around the afternoon, evening time. So it'll be Fortnite, so don't be expecting me to be running for my life. I will be building.
As for me, I am on most social media at Cat We Trust, Threads, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. The E is a 3. You guys can catch my YouTube and Cat We Trust. I do actually have 2 new interviews I will be doing this week, so they should be out next week, Monday. So looking forward to that. Again, I'm trying to be better about my channel. It's just I'm one person doing 20 million things, and mom duties never end. And so, catch me there. I'll try my best. With regards to Eric Bischoff and Tony Khan, not that I'm a huge Eric Bischoff fan, because sometimes he says ridiculous stuff as well. With that being said, as I said earlier in the show, Tony needs to stay the hell off fucking Twitter. And I just, excuse the language again, guys, but he needs to stay off Twitter. He needs to find a hobby, read a book, do some jumping jacks. I don't know, whatever you need to do, watch some reality TV, watch The Bachelor. Go argue with some randoms. I don't know. Find something to do, Tony Khan. Stay off Twitter. Because clearly, look what happens. Every time you go on Twitter, shit happens. Stay off Twitter.
Literally.
But yes, that's what's happening on my end. I do plan on trying to be a little bit more active. It's just been a lot going on. So much going on, not enough time it feels. But as always, guys, we do love you guys and appreciate you guys for always hanging out with us. And always making us laugh, even with the shenanigan comments that somebody in particular likes to make more than anybody else. But we do appreciate you guys and love you guys for always hanging out with us. And we